There we go. And actually, I mean, this is a good place to start. You are a fifth grade school teacher, and I'm curious what it's like to be teaching right now at this moment, still mid-pandemic, when school, teaching has changed a lot. So how are you processing that? How are you reckoning with that?
It's a new experience. It's a learning experience, and I keep remembering and thinking to myself, I'm not alone. All of us teachers are doing this together, and so when we don't understand something, you've got somebody else to lean on to and say, how do you do this? And so we're working together as a group. We have to. That's how we get through it. And the parents are wonderful. They've been, I've been talking to my students every day, and they've been there to help us get through the hiccups that we've stumbled across. And so it's working, but it's been a learning experience, a big learning experience for everybody.
Yeah. Is it very different than what you experienced in the spring?
Oh, definitely. In the spring, we did packets. And we had our students were still doing some of the math that we did, because we have math programs that they can use on the computer and reading programs. But now everything there's no packets. It's all same thing, same materials that we teach in the classroom every single day. Our students that are remote are learning the same lessons. And so I do meet with my students at 2:15 every day, and anything that they need me to go over in the lesson, that we go over. And so, yesterday,
the remote students you meet with at 2:15, is that what you meant?
Every day. That's our time.
Okay.
Yeah, because I let my classroom leaves at 2, and by the time I get back in from letting everybody go on the bus or walk home or whatever their departure is, I get back in about 2:15, and then I get on with my kids, my remote learners, and we go over everything. And we've the nice thing about it is I use one of my students' computers in my classroom, because I have some classroom computers, and I log on to their account, so I'm able to show my students everything they should be seeing, and that really helps. And it's been slow, and we're just stumbling across it, but we're doing good. We're doing really, really good. I think. I told my husband I felt real good today when I left. I thought, yes, I had a great day.
What does that mean? What does having a great day mean right now?
Right now, it means the computers worked, because that's been a big problem for me. And so I was able to get my lessons through to the students. The students in the classroom, we've changed a lot in the classroom too. I mean, we're all wearing masks. That's really, really hard. And so, we take a break, like we'll take a water break. So everybody will take their mask off at the same time and take a drink of water. And that gives them a moment to breathe, and then they put their mask back on, because it's real difficult. And then we eat lunch and everything. We do everything in the classroom. We do go out to recess, but we still stay distance away from each other, and so at recess is actually a planned recess, where before they go outside and play ball or walk around or play jump rope or whatever. But right now, it's kind of like a 15-minute PE class.
Yeah. Why are the masks difficult? What does that do in a classroom?
Well, you're not used to wearing them all day long. So I think that's difficult. Everybody's getting used to them. I mean, I was home all summer, and I'd wear them like to the grocery store or anywhere I had to go, but I didn't have to wear them all day long. And that's the difficult part, getting used to that. Then they're hard to hear through. Like when you have a student reading to you, that's really hard. But we're doing it. We're making the best of it.
Well, kudos to the fifth graders, I gotta say, who are probably the most active human beings on the planet.
I say kudos to all of them. Everybody who's doing it, yeah.
I mean, I was going to say for the teachers too, and it just strikes me that first of all, you're kind of working two shifts, but also working in two modes at the same time. I mean, that's got to be tough for the kids who are off site, but also you're kind of processing processing the teaching in two different ways as you go, right? I mean, that
Right.
seems to me really, really hard. I'm not a teacher, but it just strikes me as hard.
It is hard, and that's why, it's taken some time to get used to and to really get down a schedule and a method of doing everything. But we're working together to do it, and it's getting done. Because we talk at the end of the day, or first thing in the morning before class starts, and we're sharing ideas with one another, and our failures and our successes on the computer, and so that's helping everybody, and that's what we need right now.
When you say we, you mean the teachers together,
Yes,
or you
yes.
and the students are talking?
The
Yeah.
teacher, well, the teachers and I talk a lot, but when I talk
Uh-huh.
to my students on the computer, I really do. I tell them, if you guys see something that's not working, let me know right away. And we struggled at first to get my lessons through because I thought I was doing it right, and they weren't seeing them. They'd say they were there, but they weren't seeing them. And so we struggled for it the first couple of days, and now they're going through, but I told them, please bear with me. And they were very patient with me, and their parents were wonderful, and I just told them, this is new for me. I says, every bit of it's new for me. And they were great. They've been really good.
Yeah. That's cool. Well,
Yeah.
Congratulations on, so has it been, what, 2 weeks? How long have you been out?
Just about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, a week ago Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Let me think for a minute. Yes, last Wednesday is when our first day started. First real day.
So tell me, so you were majored in elementary education at UM, and I guess then
At
you
Western.
must have started teaching.
Right. I didn't go back to
Western,
school
okay.
till I was 40. I had the pleasure of being able to be home for my children while they were growing up. And Danny and I had a business together for 23 years here in Butte, Max Glass.
Okay.
And so I worked out with him, and then I worked in the schools a little bit as a monitor. But I think it was when my son was like a junior, I went back to college and said, I'm going to go back to college and get my education degree. So I went to Western.
Tell me why you did that then. What
made me go back?
Yeah.
I was working as a school monitor, and I was working with one of my good friends, and she, I was helping her with stuff, and she kept telling me, why don't you go back to school? And I was actually really afraid to go back to school. I mean, after that many years, and so I did. I went back for one class, and I said, if I can make one class, which was computers, I was going to go back full time, and I did good. And I thought, okay, I really can do this. But you have to convince yourself of a giant step like that. It was a big step for me, and I loved every bit of it. I drove to Western, went to school there, did my elementary ed and my special ed, and then I came back to Butte. Well, I was always here. When I finished school in Butte, I got on as a special ed teacher for 6 years, and now I'm a fifth grade teacher. So.
Why, when you did go back to school, why did you go to education? Well,
I had been working in the schools for quite a while as a monitor, and I loved it. I enjoyed what I was doing. I loved working with the kids, and so that's why I went into education. You have to love what you're doing, no matter what. You could be a teacher, you could be a lineman. You have to love what you're doing.
Yeah, but why did you love working at a school? Why did you love working with kids?
I just like kids. I like doing it. Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
I'm so grateful that there are people who love that and do what you do, because it's
Thank you.
Not for the record, I guess. This obviously is not. You're not making a ton of money, and it is all about service in the end.
I like what I'm doing. Mm-hmm.
So, where was your first teaching job? Was it at Hillcrest?
No, my first teaching job was at Kennedy here in Butte, Kennedy Elementary in special ed.
Okay. And you obviously loved it and stuck with it.
I did.
Do you have a preference between special ed and elementary?
Oh, they're you know, you're working with when I was in special ed, I was with the younger kids. I was with K through sixth grade. So always have been in the elementary schools, and I do like working with the
Okay.
younger kids. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So if I can go further back, so you were born and raised in Butte, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a bit about your childhood?
Can I tell you a little bit about what?
About your childhood, about growing up.
Oh, my childhood.
Yeah.
I had a great childhood.
Did you?
My dad was a miner. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And you know, we just did the regular things. I grew up on the hill. And so I think I experienced pretty much everything that all the Butte kids did, you know. I went to a Catholic school for a while until the schools closed, and then I went to public. I think I had a great childhood.
You got to tell me, because I don't know. What do all the Butte kids experience, or what did they at that time? Like
Riding the
was
bikes
typical?
up the hill, up the hill. Oh, you know, everything in Butte's up the hill, right? So riding bikes, you know, we did that. We played kick the can. One of the things that I still laugh about, because it still happens. We have a 9 o'clock siren, and that 9 o'clock siren at night was our way of saying it's time to go home. Everybody knows the 9 o'clock siren. And so a lot of parents to this day, I watch the kids in my neighborhood when that siren went off in the summertime, they all ran home. So, you know, I don't know about other towns if they have something like that.
And why does the siren go off? What's the function?
It's just something that's always happened. I got to be honest with you. I don't know what started it, how long ago they started it, but it's something that I think just about every kid in Butte knows about.
Is it a firehouse siren?
Yeah,
Or
it's the firehouse siren. And so
okay,
then, like the volunteer firehouse, they go off at 9 o'clock too. Over here, I live by Racetrack Fire Hall, and so when the siren goes off at 9 o'clock, just like the one uptown did.
that's great.
I mean,
That's
I don't
so
know
awesome.
if other towns do that, but we do.
Huh. Huh. And so I'm curious. As a kid, did you think about teaching at all then? Was that in your head, or did that
Oh, that
connection
was
only
one of my
happen later?
dreams. Yeah. You know, you have a million dreams, but I did think about teaching. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. And so I actually didn't realize that you went to college later in life. So it sounds like you got married, you had kids, and you said you started a business with your husband?
Yeah. We started Max
Yeah.
Glass, and we had Max Glass open for 23 years, and then my husband retired. But yeah, it was
Sorry. Tell me the name of the business again. I'm missing this.
Max Glass, MAC''S Glass.
And what is that?
We did residential, automotive, commercial glass.
Okay. And you said 23 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from that?
I learned a lot. My husband's a great teacher. I got to be honest with you.
Yes?
He was very patient with me because the first year I was working with him, I probably broke so much glass I lost all our profit. But you know, I learned seriously how to work more with my hands, how to cut glass, how to glaze windows. I did mostly the office work. But you know, when my husband would have to go out from time to time and people would come in and need a quick piece of glass, I was able to cut it, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, after a while I was pretty proud of myself. But like I said, that first year I think I lost all our profit. And I really enjoyed working with the people. As the people would come in, I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed working with my husband. We have a great relationship, and I think that's how you make a business work. When you work with your partners, you have to have a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing about having our own business, it gave us the opportunity when our kids had like school plays, or even when our children grew up and they were expecting their children and they called and said, hey, I'm in labor. We were able to just go and you know, it gave us the freedom we needed, that we wanted.
Right. You can, your business, you can close the door and do
we
what's
did.
needed.
We did.
Yeah.
We took care of family. They always came first. Yeah.
Huh. And now your kids are grown, you have grandkids,
Yeah.
all of that.
I do. Our youngest grandson, he's 5. He was with us for a week and a half, and he was just a bundle of joy. But I forgot how busy they are at 5. So yeah, he just went home about 5 or 6 days ago.
That's great. Are they also in Butte?
No,
Your
they
kids?
sadly they live in Post Falls. But I do have my daughter, Amber. She lives here, and her 2 children live here. But one's a senior and one's in 7th grade. So you know, they kind of have their own
Wow.
life. But they still come and see Grandma and Grandpa. And then my
Yeah.
other daughter, she lives in Alaska, and her grandkids, or
Wow.
excuse me, her children call me all the time, and we talk. And they hope to come home for Christmas. So we're really excited for that. All of us are excited.
I hope that
I hope
works.
it works.
Huh.
I do too. I do too.
Do you get to Alaska at all? I've never been.
We've been there once. And yeah, we've been
Yeah.
there once, and we were actually going to go this last summer, but that didn't work out. But she's been home a couple times too. So we have seen them, just not as much as we want to. But it's beautiful up
Yeah.
there. She lives in Sedalna, which is on the Kenai Peninsula.
I've seen pictures of the peninsula. That looks amazing.
Oh, she's got
Okay, so to return to the interview.
I'm sorry.
So no, I that was me. Your record shows you were commissioner, county commissioner, starting in 1991. Was that your first elected office?
Yes, it
There?
was.
Okay. So how and why did that happen? Why did you decide to run for county commissioner?
Well, down in the area that we live in, there was a lot of things that were being overlooked and not being taken care of. And so I just decided to run and see if I could help clean up our area a little. And I won. And I was a commissioner for 8 years, and I managed to do some street repairs down here that were needed very badly. And then right behind the racetrack park, we managed to build a park there and dedicate it to firemen. So that their racetrack fire hall is now also has a racetrack park behind it. And the reason it's called racetrack, don't know if you know this or not, but Marcus Daly at one time had a racetrack down here in the area that I live in that they raced greyhounds in. And part of that area is right there. So that's why we called it the racetrack park.
The track is gone.
The track is gone. Been gone many, many years. Many years. Yeah.
Greyhound racing. That's cool. Huh. So I'm curious
Could
now,
you excuse
thinking
me
about.
for 1 second? I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
My husband's waiting for his doctor to call him, and I didn't think he heard the phone ringing, so I apologize for that. Okay.
No problem. So thinking about the park, how did that happen? How did you get that to happen?
Well, first of all, the volunteer firemen came to me and asked me what we could do with that area, if we could get a park built. And so, because there wasn't a park on that side for the young children to play at. And so I went to the community development and visited with them, and we wrote some grants, and we got some grants. We did some fundraisers to make up the difference of the money that we needed to raise, and we got it built. Yeah, it took about, once from the time they came to me and the time it was actually built, maybe about 3 years to do.
So this was not a county-funded thing. It sounds like it was funded privately.
It was funded privately, and then we got some grants. Yeah, we got some state grants for it. Yeah.
Huh. Geez. Was there any opposition to it, or
no, we had a lot of support for it. Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And so the community foundation, community development, this is an agency in Butte. This is the city community development arm.
Right.
Huh. And so I guess you liked being commissioner long enough to stay for 10 years, right?
8 years, right, 8 years. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's 8 years. Okay.
Yes.
What did you like about being a commissioner?
I like being involved and knowing what was going on in the community. The people that I worked with, we have a 12-board commission here in Butte. They were all wonderful people to work with. All the department heads, they were great to work with whenever I called them and had a problem. Like for instance, on one of the roads that was really bad, I worked real close with the Public Works Department, and they were just great people to work with. So I enjoyed working with everybody.
Now, when you went to the legislature, 2008, very different sort of role and different sort of political process than being a county commissioner. Why did you decide to make that leap?
At the time, the seat was available and nobody was running in it, and I thought, I can do this. I did this as a commissioner, but like you said, it is very, very different. There's a big learning curve there. And I enjoyed working so much with the people when I was a county commissioner that I thought, I can do this. I want to work with the people again. And so that's why I decided to do it.
Did you have a mandate for yourself coming in? Were there issues? This is back in 2008. Were there issues that you were focused on right at the start?
Education's always been important to me, and that was the one thing that I wanted to work on the most was education. And I didn't know a lot about the other committees that you can get on. I didn't know a whole lot about the issues. Like I said, it's a big learning curve. And so once you get there and you start learning, you find your niche. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I want to do. And so like on the mental health issues, I started really listening to the mental health issues and started working with people on that. So you find what you want and what you think you could be good in and help people with.
Is the learning curve mostly about the content of the issues themselves or about the political process?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we can talk about mental health since you raised that. In one of the pieces that you wrote for the Monitor, you talked about the bill in the last session, the HB 660 for the mobile health unit.
The mobile crisis unit.
Mobile crisis unit, sorry, yeah. Which I really liked that piece because it got into kind of the meat, the nuts and bolts of political process and how bills emerged. And that sounded like, that one took a lot of twists and turns, as I remember. I'm curious why that was important to you in the first place. That is the mobile crisis units.
When that bill started, I had a couple of veterans come to me and talk to me about that bill because it had been more of a veterans bill in some of the other states that it went through. And I was right on. I thought, yes, our veterans need help. But as we started working the bill more and talking with one another, we all realized this is not just a veterans issue. This is a bill for everybody who has mental problems. And so we started talking, and we decided to expand it to everybody. And so working with other outside of Montana entities that we saw that they had done the same thing, that they had opened the bill up for everybody, for a mobile crisis unit. For anybody who's in trouble, they can call and a unit will be formed or is formed in a community. They can go out and help this person that's in crisis. And they make sure that the person gets the help they need. And they also make sure that tomorrow, the next day, we check on this person. We're going to check on him and make sure he's okay. And there is a professional licensed care person mental health person who can help them, who's right there along helping them, making sure that they're getting all the help they need. And then it might be a week, it might be a month when that person says, I think I can do this, and I'm doing whatever I'm supposed to be doing. And then that person will slowly, the person that's watching him will slowly back away and let this person proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see, was there a connection between the need for for these units and the budget and service cuts to mental health that had happened in the previous legislature?
It was important to get this through, yes, because we needed to get other programs out into the cities and towns that everybody's suffering from suicide crisis. And so it was important to get this program. And so as I was working with this program, there was a $500,000 price tag on it. And we knew. And, usually bills with money start in the house. And so we thought we would probably have a better success with it if we did start in the House instead of the Senate. And so I worked and I talked with a couple people, and I said, who would like to work with this? And we saw, I had a bunch of people, and so then Joel Crowder and I had a really good conversation, and he felt the need in the eastern part of Montana. And so he carried the bill, and he, I was at all the hearings with him. I worked very closely with him. We were a good team on that bill. That was a lot of teamwork on that bill. And we got it through the House. Then we turned around and we did the same thing in the Senate, and we got it through the Senate. But it was a bill that the more people we talked to, the more people we got supporting it. I mean, they liked the bill. And so it as you know, it's working today. I know Missoula, don't quote me on this because I'm not really sure, but I want to say about 3 months ago, maybe a little less, or, started their mobile crisis unit. Bozeman had one. They were starting to form their own crisis unit at the time. So when the money came out, different cities and towns all put in for it. And they kind of put their plan out there, and then DPHHS gave the money to the cities and towns to.
So this is not just relevant for rural areas. This is something that's needed in.
This is
in
needed
Montana
all over the
cities
state of
as well.
Montana. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's another thing, is we made sure that at least one rural community got the mobile crisis unit money to start their own unit. And let's take Boulder, for example. If Boulder applied for it, it wouldn't have just been for Boulder, Montana. They could have reached over to Whitehall and Cardwell and Clancy and that whole area, but they have to have somebody that's willing to drive to these places, to a person and help them, and that was the important part, is we needed people there, people. Yeah.
Which was the rural community that got the funding? Do you know?
I don't know. I have to be honest with you. I'd have to look that up.
Huh. I'd sort of be interested in doing a story about that.
I could find out for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet. I just wrote myself a note.
So you said something interesting here. You said, thinking about Representative Crowder, Joel Crowder, that was good teamwork between the two of you. So can you describe what that means? What does teamwork look like when it's effective in the legislature?
Okay, so first of all, for Joel and I, we sat down and we had a really good talk, and I could tell that his heart was into the issue as much as mine was. And so when we started working together, we educated one another. Everything I knew about the mobile crisis unit, I educated them. And then he went out there and he started talking to other people and bringing back what he learned. So we were educating each other at the same time. At the same time that we're working with the people on the bill who brought it to us. We're all working together and we're all getting excited about it. And we would go and meet with the legislative writer. You know how when you get a bill draft, you have a person in downstairs who writes the bills for you. Then we would go through the bill and we'd go through all the language. And if we didn't understand something, we'd find out together. If we didn't like something, we would say, well, I don't like this, and because blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, we just shared, we bounced things and ideas off of each other all the time. And then when we went to the hearing, of course, because Joel was carrying the bill, he always opened up the hearing, and I would always talk, you know, come in second and talk about it and expand more. And another thing we both did is we both worked on getting people to the hearing. Who would be a good person to testify for the hearing? And so we would both, you know, say, hey, could you do this? You know, but we had, like Matt Coons, for instance, with NAMI, he was right there. I mean, we didn't even have to ask. He's just like, tell me when, you know, tell me when. And so we together, we would make a list of people that would testify, and we would make sure that everybody knew what time to be at the hearings and stuff. So that's the part about working together. And then when things didn't look very good, because at one time the bill almost died, you know, we just kind of gave each other support and said we're doing our best, and that's good too, having the support there.
How did you rescue it? Why did it not die?
Because Joel Crowder blasted it on the floor of the house. And that means
it was stuck in committee.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I got to remember that right. And so Joel Crowder blasted it on the floor, and it got out. But we were both kind of on pins and needles, chewing our fingernails, wondering if we could get it out, you know. And so right before he did that, the night before, we had talked about these are the main points we got to get out. We talked together about, again, working. What do I think is important? What do you think is important? What do we got to get out there and say? And he did a great job because he got it blasted out of committee.
Yeah. Okay. So there was enough support on the floor to
absolutely
to get it past the committee. That's very interesting. Okay.
And good. I don't remember what that count was. I could look that up too. But yeah, it was. Yeah, we were pretty excited when that happened.
Yeah. So thinking more broadly, the issue of mental health, and especially of teen suicide, which, as you've noted, is extraordinarily high in Montana, and just, you know, incredibly sad. How do we best confront and respond to that?
The teen suicide?
Yeah.
Well, we make sure we're aware of the signs. You know, we listen. And I think one thing that has really come across over the years is when somebody says they're thinking about killing themselves, they usually say it to a friend, and the friend doesn't, you know, ignore it. They're aware. I know that when you say that, you're serious, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to listen. I'm going to get you the help that you need. So we have to it's awareness. And that's, you know, the programs that we brought in the schools. It's not just programs for teachers. At first, it was programs for teachers so that they could see the signs. Now they have programs in the schools where they're talking to students about the signs and how to get your friends some help. So we got to be aware. You have to be aware, and you have to listen.
Are there programs at the elementary school level that raise awareness for kids, or is it mostly high school? I mean, the high school programs I've heard of.
Right. Mostly in the high schools. Yeah. But the teachers have had training in the elementary. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because you would start to see signs, you know, at the upper boundary. Right. You know, with the fifth and sixth graders, there might be signs there. Okay. So going into if you're reelected for a second term, are there any new priorities going into the
definitely,
2021 legislature?
Definitely continue to work with mental health issues. Education, I support education, but the one thing I'd like to see through education is a early education, I guess is the word, early education.
That is
Yeah.
mandatory funding for early education, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, yeah. I just think it's so important, and it gives our kids a head start, and I believe it's a program that is very important for our children to attend because it helps them.
Why has it not happened so far in Montana?
I think there's a lot of people who believe that children shouldn't be in school that young. They could maybe go to daycares, and they can. I agree that we have some great daycares that do have learning in them, but I just think that I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I can't tell you.
So, do you have a strategy for how to approach this in the legislature? Like, what could turn the tide and actually make legislation work?
I know we've been doing a lot of talking since the last session. A lot of us have been doing a lot of talking to people. Excuse me, in our education meeting, we've been listening to people talk to us about early education. One of the things is to be educated on it and show the benefits of having a quality early education program in the state of Montana. And we need to listen. We need to work with one another, and we need to listen. I think that last session, it came close. I was very disappointed when it didn't happen, but there was a lot of things that some people thought of at the very end, and they needed to be ironed out. Those problems needed to be ironed out.
Mm-hmm. Such as what? Was there one thing that got it stuck?
No, I think there was more than one thing. There was many things that got it stuck. Yeah. It's just, there was a lot of things. The bill wasn't, and there's no perfect bill, but the bill had a lot of things that needed to be addressed.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you and others know what needs fixing, what a better bill might look like, and how to build support for that.
We're hoping that we can. Yeah, we're working on it, but I don't know. You never know. What's that old saying? You can't count your chickens till they hatch. Do know.
I'm guessing that is true, especially in state politics, right?
Yes.
Can I ask? Thinking about this completely different issue. Thinking about the racial justice issues, the protests that have emerged over the summer, over the police brutality and killings. What do you make of this moment? Thinking about race, how are you processing that?
Discrimination, there's no place for it. There just isn't. It's just, I almost answered your question when you wrote and asked about, how do you feel about it? And I sat down and I thought about it, and it's painful. Discrimination is painful. Now, I've, been discriminated against before, and it doesn't, it's painful. I don't care who you are, it hurts. And so we have to teach our children, because you have to start young, that discrimination is unacceptable. and we have to work to get along. And we're going to have differences, but those differences should be acceptable. I mean, nobody's, you know, we're all different, and we need to accept people for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I answered that for you.
It's hard.
It is a hard thing to answer, but we just gotta get ourselves through it, and we gotta accept one another for who we are.
How do we get ourselves through it?
Acceptance. Sometimes it's hard to do. Forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't know the answers to that one, but I'm willing to work with anybody to help make somebody's life better.
Yeah, I sort of feel, and I hope that talking about it is hard, but that the more we talk, the more we sort of expose ourselves to each other, the easier then it becomes to move toward that acceptance of difference. You know, if you understand the difference, if you're able to share that difference, then you know, it's harder to discriminate against someone you actually know and understand, right? And so the more we talk about it, the greater the understanding, the greater the acceptance. That doesn't make it easy, but
you're right, though. Yeah.
When you said you had been discriminated against, do you mean as a woman?
And yes, as a woman, as my my race. Yeah, I have been, and because I am, you know, my father was from Mexico. I'm Mexican, and I
didn't know that.
Yeah, and I have been discriminated against for my race, and like I said, it hurts. So I haven't experienced as bad as some people have, but I have experienced it.
Is there anything else I haven't asked that you would like to say?
Geez, I don't think so. You know, I just, you know, I look forward to representing the people of Boulder and actually all of Jefferson County, Whitehall, Clancy, Montana City. I just look forward to representing people, and I want people to know that I will work hard for them. I will do my best for them, and that's all that I can give them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks again for your time, Edie. This was nice. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I'm hoping to set up another forum, town hall kind of thing with Jim. I am thinking that I'll aim for the first week in October, because that's just before the mail ballots will go out.
Okay.
So let's work that out with the three of us. Just figure out what weeknight is gonna be good for that.
Okay.
And I'm thinking we'll keep it online. Although it might be, if you're open to it, it might be nice to do a live conversation that is also broadcast. But let's see how the logistics work on that. All right.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Two questions, actually. I wanted to start doing some ads with you guys. Do I call you? Do I call somebody? Who do I call?
Yes, I am the ad guy.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, I can I can send you a rate sheet that shows you the prices, and I'm happy to design some ads for you, or if you have a designer, you can send me finished ads. But either way, yeah, of course, happy to work with you on that.
And then my other question is, I have a gentleman who sent me a letter of support, and you know, since he sent it to me, I wanted to submit it, but I'm not sure if I can or if I need to call him and say, you need to submit this yourself.
He has to submit it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got to submit it with with some contact information so we can confirm that he's a real person.
No, he is. He's a great guy. I've worked a lot with the sportsmen, and so he was the president of the sports Montana Skyline here in Butte, and so he wrote a letter of support. So yeah.
By the way, I loved the photo of you on your website in fishing gear with the dog. Could we use that with this piece?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, that was really nice. Do you fish a lot?
I love to fish. I do. I haven't fished a whole lot in maybe the last 2 years. But that dog, my dog Haley, she was a rescue dog, and I'll tell you what, she's the most loving animal I've ever had in my life. So, yeah, she just wanted some love, and she's getting it.
she found the right place. That's cool.
Yeah. I walk her almost every night. And she loves to walk, and she's just, she's got quite the personality, but they all do. So, but yeah, she's a pretty cool dog. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Edie, thanks so much again for taking time at the end of the day, and enjoy your evening.
Okay, thank you. You too. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.